Hi guys, welcome to this new tutorial. If you're new here, first of all, welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley, I write stories on the Episode Interactive app, and I decided to make video tutorials to help new authors write their stories and help confirmed authors improve theirs. In this video, I will be showing you how to remember choices. Choices are a very important part of an episode story. It's what makes this app so popular, in my opinion. It's even better when what the reader chooses has an impact on the story. There are a few ways to do this. You can use gains, or you can use the point system. In this video, I will be concentrating on gains. I will make a part 2 in which I will show you how to use the point system. So, let's start the tutorial. Open up Episode Writer Portal and the story in which you want to add a choice. I'm just quickly going to go get a background because this is a brand new script, so I'm just going to go into Art Catalog and choose a random background. So I'm just going to start by putting in the background, resetting the zoom, and adding a little transition. I'm also going to put my characters onto the screen right before the transition so they just don't pop up on the screen out of nowhere. Alright, we are going to start by coding a choice, a simple choice. This is something we have to have if we want to remember the choice. To code a choice, you need to write the word choice and then hit the return key on your keyboard. You can then insert as many options as you want. I just used 2 options in this example, but you can really have as many options as you want. You need to write your options in between quotation marks and leave an open bracket after that. You need to close the bracket, that's very important. What happens if you choose either option will appear in between those brackets. For now, I'm just leaving them blank. Something very important that you need to remember is that you can only have a choice after a spoken line, a thought, or a narrator box. So I'm just going to insert a spoken line with one of my characters, in this case, Daniel. He's going to ask the second character what her favorite color is. Now that I've done that, I'm going to replace the options I put in my choice with actual colors. I'm going to put in blue and green. Now it's time to put the other character's reaction in between the brackets. In this case, my second character is called Julia. She's going to answer, I like blue, or I like green, depending on which option the reader chooses. I'm also going to add a third option just to make it clear that you can put as many options as you want. There we go, now we have our choice. Let's test it and see what the result is. So here are my characters, and Daniel asks Julia what her favorite color is. I'm just going to select blue and see what happens. Julia says, I like blue. So now we have the confirmation that our choice works. Now we can dive right into the most important part of this tutorial, how to remember this choice. To do this, we're going to use gains. Using gains is quite easy. You're just going to go into each one of your options in between the brackets and type in gain plus a word referring to the content of that option. In this case, I'm going to put in gain blue for the option blue, gain green for the option green, and gain red for the option red. This means that the script is going to remember what the reader clicked on throughout the story. This is really interesting because you can really use gains to have a lasting impact on the story. For example, in my latest story, I used it to let the reader pick if he or she wanted to date boys or girls. Gains are only helpful and interesting when they let you change the storyline based on what the reader chose. I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't have to have the consequence of the choice directly after the choice. You can leave a few scenes and even chapters in between the choice and the consequence. In this case, I'm just going to imagine that there is a couple of scenes in between the choice and the consequence. I'm just adding a black background and adding in a few moments later. So now I'm just going to copy and paste what I had written for the first scene and just putting it after the mock scene a few moments later, just so we have the same background. This is where it gets interesting. Julia is going to ask Daniel if he remembers what her favorite color is. Daniel's answer is going to be based on what the reader chose in the choice we just wrote. He's going to answer blue if we chose blue, he's going to answer green if we chose green, and he's going to answer red if the reader chose red. But how exactly is Daniel going to remember the color the reader chose? Well, this is what we're going to write right now. We are going to be using the if and elif commands. At this point, the script is going to divide itself into 3 different paths based on which color we chose before. The first path is going to start with the command if, and then in between parentheses, you're going to write your first gain, which was green. And then, just like we did with the choice, you're going to open a bracket. What happens if we chose green before is going to be put in between these brackets after the if green statement. In this example, Daniel is going to tell Julia, green? Once you have finished writing what happens if we chose green, don't forget to close the bracket. Let's move on to the second option. After the end bracket, write in elif and in parentheses your second gain, in this case, blue. Open another bracket and type in what happens if the reader chose blue. When you're done with that, simply close the bracket. And do the exact same thing for the third option, red. Don't forget to always close the brackets. And there you have it, your 3 different paths based on the reader's choice. The amount of content you want to put in each branch is totally up to you. You can have a couple of lines, like I did in this example, to be clear, but you can also have a couple of scenes. Just don't forget to always close the brackets. I'm just going to finish up with an ending scene with Julia saying, "Oh, you remembered." Once we're done with that, we're going to test the story to make sure everything works. Alright, here are our characters, and we're going to select green. Let's see what happens. And he says green. As you can see, it works perfectly. If you want to test out the other options in the web previewer, you need to click on Navigation and then click again on Restart Episode. Otherwise, the choice you made the first time is going to stay anchored in the script, and Daniel is going to say green no matter which option you choose. But don't worry, it will work perfectly fine when someone reads your story on their device. And we are done. If you enjoyed this tutorial and you found it helpful, don't hesitate to leave a like, subscribe, and check out my description box for ways to support me or just to read my stories. I will see you all next time for another tutorial. Bye bye!